Ken Grant. I'll be your guide tonight. We've got three wonderful storytellers, and I will be introducing each of them as we come along. But if I could, let me tell you a little bit about Village Storytellers and Front Porch Stories first. Village Storytellers is a group of people who get together once a month, first Tuesday of the month. We meet here at the Sertoma Arts Center, and we tell stories, and we critique each other, and we improve our craft. It's kind of like a storytelling guild. We help each other, we guide each other, and it's been a wonderful experience for me. Front Porch Stories is an opportunity for storytellers from our group and around the region to come in and speak to a live audience. A lot of these folks compete. A lot of these folks do professional storytelling, and an opportunity to have a crowd, live crowd we can talk to and share our stories with and allow us to fine-tune is a great opportunity for us, and we think it'll be a fine opportunity for you as well. Sir.
I'm going to interrupt for a second.
Of course you are.
I didn't give him the statistics because I don't know if I had them at the time. This is our 11th Front Porch Stories since July of 2 years ago. We've been going for 2.5 years. But this is our 11th. Susan Adams is our 18th storyteller. In 11 stories, Front Porch Stories, we have shared over 100 unique stories from the 18 storytellers. We have fun.
As advertised, the admission for this wonderful performance is one smile. If you didn't bring one, I promise you, by the time you leave, we'll have provided you the price of admission. Let's get on with storytelling.
Well, one Saturday morning, my father destroyed my world. He said, "Son, you can't have the car tonight." Well, it had to go in the shop, and that was when it had to go, and so I wasn't going to get the car. So then I did the unthinkable. I turned to my mom, and I said, "Can I drive your car?" So we went hunting, and we drove all over the place. We hunted up and down. We went down dirt roads I had never seen before, and we finally found another place where we could park on the shores of Old Hickory Lake. It was beautiful. So I eased the car down off the road onto this gorgeous slope, and I set the brake, and I put it in park, and I turned the key to off, turned off the headlights, and turned to give all of my attention to the lovely Suzanne, who said, "Sam, the car is moving."
Once upon a time, there was a Palma Mig, and she had P little thrigs. She did. Now, when the P little thrigs got big, the Palma Mig sent them out into the wig world to hild their own bouses. Yes, she did. But she warned them to watch out for the wig wad wolf. They said they would be careful. And along came the first pit of leg, and he was rolling down the strode, and he came upon a strile of paw, and decided he could hild his bouse with that strile of paw. And so he stacked, and he molded, and he worked with it until he had a haw strauss. And then he got inside, but then who should come along but the wig wad wolf. She was so happy at the trick that she had played on Kenny Jackson so close to Halloween. But before she went to sleep, she scratched claw marks on her own red pickup truck door. And then she went to sleep, and she slept so peaceful and sound. And the next day she drove back over to Kenny Jackson's place. And he did not look quite so comfortable this morning. He had come out of the outhouse, but he was standing on the front porch, and he was sort of looking. He was looking side to side, looking at the woods and listening. Oh, my goodness. And she said, "Hey, Mr. Jackson, how's it going?" He said, I'm okay, Miss Hannah. I'm okay. I had a bit of trouble over here last night. I did. Yes, I did." She said, "Really? I just come over to thank you. I believe you saved my life, Mr. Jackson."
A little cottage in a tiny village, and they didn't have very much. As a matter of fact, the only way they had to make money was behind their little cottage that they paid rent on was a little chicken house with these brown speckled hens. And about once every 2 weeks, Jack would go out there when he would gather all the eggs in a basket, and he would walk all the way to the city and sell them at the market. This was in the day when you either rode a horse or a horse and buggy, or you walked, and Jack and his mom, they couldn't afford a horse or a horse and buggy. Sometimes when Jack would walk down the street of his little village, people would point and go, "That's Jack. He's not very smart." If he were smarter, he would do better by his mother. But Jack knew he loved his mother, and he did the best he could. Jack saw the king coming down the stairs. He jumped off and took off his hat. "Your Majesty." The king crossed his arms and looked down at Jack. "And what can I do for you?" And again, Jack stood tall. "I'm here to marry the princess." And the king would have laughed, except the king never laughed at anything. All he thought was, "I'm not going to let the princess marry this scrawny little fellow. I'll get rid of him just like that." "Well, you know," said the king, "anybody who wants to marry the princess, they have to bring her a basket. And it has to be piled high with diamonds and rubies and emeralds." And Jack said, "All right." He went out the door, down the steps, jumped on his horse, rode around behind the castle, and under a big shade tree, while no one would watch, he took out the bottle and he popped open the top. The two little men jumped out and said, "What's your pleasure?" "I need a basket. It's got to be piled high with diamonds and rubies and emeralds." One of the fellows went, "Shoo," and he had a golden basket lined with a white silk cloth. The other went, "Shoo," and his hands were piled with diamonds and rubies and emeralds, and they spilled them into the basket and folded it over the cloth, handed it to Jack. They jumped in the bottle. He put the top on, put it in his pocket, rode back around, jumped off, tied the horse, ran up, knocked on the door. This happened so quickly